Castellum CTM has jumped up as much as 7% today, and it has gone up to the daytime highs at about 75 cents a share. But what most people are missing when it comes to this stock is there was a brand new institutional report that just dropped. And shout out to all of my boys in the Discord community. I do appreciate all the insight you guys give me. It was, so I'm going to put a link below for that as well. So if you guys are interested, and if you're not coming from the Discord community, check out the link below so that you can join and gain more insight on Castellum CTM. But the report itself, there was a few things that were discussed. Part of the report was bullish, some of it was more on the bearish side, and some of it was neutral. So today I want to break down that report for you and go over all the details and give some of the information that some people interested or have heard about Castellum CTM might have missed. Now, if you do see here, we see that Claude in the Prophecy AI app does have bullish projections over the next year. Currently right now, the 1-year projection is at 88 cents a share. And from the price action today, let's talk about the price action before we go into the report. Today, they closed at 73 cents. The highs for the day were at 75 cents, pretty much close to about 76 cents a share. The possible high-low forming, tying into the previous video that we talked about, as you do see here, there is starting to be more price action that is supporting what we talked about on the daytime frame chart, which is a higher low forming. As you do see here, we had inverted doji candle at around the highs. So any attempts to break down and sell off even lower than to sell off lower below the highs of the previous day failed. Then we had a bullish engulfing candle of the previous day, closing around the highs, and then we did open lower, but then selling activity completely diminished as soon as the market opened, and then we had more bullish activity still holding above, closing and holding above the April 13th high at 68 cents a share, and now we opened high, we gapped up, and we still are holding above the previous days, past 2 days highs at the 72 and 73 cents a share level. So there is starting to be some more bullish momentum from the price action perspective. And when it comes to Castellum CTM, this is the types of moves that you want to see in a stock trying to reverse, not just a bounce, but actual strength coming in. So as I mentioned, there was a report that came out in the Discord community, and it was an institutional report. It was pretty interesting, guys. So let's break this down for you. So this is a stock report. I need to do a little more research to see how credible this specific source is. But I do know, and I am certain that this is an institutional report, and it does give good insight into the company alone. And what the report does state right here is that the average score of the overall company in this report for Castellum CTM is at a 4. So it's not bullish, it's not bearish, but it's just shows that it's still under the radar. And overall, Wall Street does not really have, they still are thinking more along the lines of they're not fully convinced in what Castellum CTM brings to the table. Now, if we scroll down here, we're going to look at a few reports. So first off, the big red flag that you see here when it comes to the indicator components right here, you see here that earnings is negative. It's scored at the lowest score possible. Well, besides no rating, but besides a 0, it's at a 1. So it's saying there's weak earnings, missed expectations, and no strong estimates. Now, to be frank, I do think that's a little... I don't want to be biased because I don't want to marry a stock, but I do think that that's a little bit off due to the fact that when we look at the quarterly reports, they continue to grow revenue quarter over quarter and year over year. They had their first ever profitable quarter in Q3 of 2025. Their backlog continues to grow, and they don't really have horrible earnings misses. They really don't. But overall, the main thing when it comes to earnings that is a miss and that people do want to see is they want to see consistent profitability for at least 2 to 3 quarters in a row, just to show that the products that they're offering and the business that they're doing is actually working and resulting and showing good results in the financials through profitability. So right now, according to the report, this is the biggest weakness right now. Fundamentals from an earning perspective are not strong according to the report. I would say that's a little bit but again, I'm just going based on what the report is talking about today. Now, other strong areas that are mentioned, this is more from a bullish perspective. We do see that price momentum is scored at an 8 out of 10. So that is high. And that also does kind of reflect what happened on today, as we did go up 7%, and with the price action level holding above the highs and continuing the bullish momentum to the upside from a day short-term time frame. And overall, this literally confirms basically what we saw on today's price action. Now, when it comes to insider trading as well, that's also scored at an 8 out of 10. And as we do know, it goes both ways. There was lots of people that were pretty upset with the insider selling that was going on ever since Jay Wright left the company. And then also on the other end, we have been seeing some recent buying activity from insiders. Some were very small positions. Most of it was, and a lot of the people in the community and retail traders and investors that I know interested in Castellum were disappointed with the low amount of capital they invested into the company. But a little more insight due to another report that was put in Discord, and the source is with Fintel. We do see here that as of recently, institutional ownership continues to grow and grow, as we do see here. So I just want to point that out there. It's just another bullish data point for the company. And the next key point that I want to cover is when we look at the fundamentals, it's 6. So a little in the neutral area, but a little bit more on the positive side of neutral. Because as we do know, revenue growth is solid. Debt completely eliminated, as we do know was reported at the earlier stage of this year. And you've talked about this before. I've talked about that before many times, but I'm just trying to drill that point to you guys to let everyone know who hasn't seen my content before understand the data points for Castellum CTM. And as we do know, margins, which is true, margins are still weak. So now this company is transitioning from just focusing on organic growth, but they're also now focusing on PR, and they're looking within a 12-month period starting since January 1st of 2026, they are looking to complete an accredited acquisition for this year. So this is a company that is transitioning, not fully strong yet, but most definitely improving. Now, from a risk side perspective, as we do know, volatility is high in the stock. The risk was scored at a 2. And this is signaling that there are huge swings relative to how small cap this stock is. And this is not for weak hands and people that are easily distressed with high volatility micro cap stocks like CTM. So let's scroll down a little more and let's talk about what some analysts are saying. So as we do see here, the 12-month price target, we do see here that one analyst scores that they believe that the price target within a 12-month period would be at $3.50. So this isn't, again, it's only one analyst. It's not many analysts. So you do have to take that with a grain of salt, because there are analysts that do have their own agendas. And I do have to be frank and as unbiased as possible, but there can be analysts that skew their perceptions of a stock just because they have their own agenda of what they want in a stock and they invest and they like it. But it is still a good point to take into consideration, but it still has the show that this stock could have huge upside potential. So I wouldn't necessarily rely on one analyst alone, but it shows how undervalued some believe this could be. I know that everyone in the community and everyone that I know and the people that follow me, what they think about Castellum, how they feel it's undervalued. However, we can't just go based on what it is we know or what we want. We have to go with what the data is saying there, and we have to manage our risk properly, and then we have to execute on our plan and only sell when our thesis is broken to be able to mitigate the losses when necessary. And also, if we are in a winning stock, maximize profits as much as possible. Now, I hope I did my best to be as unbiased and balanced with this analysis as I possibly could, because I am a shareholder of Castellum CTM, and I do get lots of information related to Castellum CTM from other investors that are interested in the stock as well, and they do help me get out of the dark, and they help other investors stay out of the dark and get more information that they wouldn't have if they weren't in the community. So I just want to ask you guys this question. If you personally think this short-term bounce we've had is the early stages of a real reversal, or if it's just a short-term bounce with no meaning. So, guys, I'm glad that we were able to cover Castellum CTM. If you do want more breakdowns on the company in the future, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. I enjoy the support, and comment below what it is you guys want to see in future upcoming videos. But with that being said, InvestQ out, stay safe, keep making good decisions with your long-term portfolios, and I'll see you all in the next video.